In this video, we will continue to talk about the tools to create details, and also we're gonna see how we can create like clothing details and the apparel, so we can do like a little bit of fashion design here in MUDBOX. And we will continue to use the stamp tool at the moment. We will not use the stencil, we will concentrate more on the parameters of the sculpting tool, like for example the fall off, and also we will talk more about the stamp parameters and how we can set them up to have different effects, and how we can like simulate the skin texture and the leather if we want to do again like accessories or apparel, or we can essentially go into really fine details using the stamp and using images, so sculpting not only with the sculpt tool but also with images. So in the previous video we started to add really fine details like facial hairs and a little bit of wrinkles, really big wrinkles on the face, and also a big scar. So these are all like fine details. They are not like the smaller details, the smallest, but we are in a really high level of detail right now. So again, if I want to work on this level of detail, I can continue to add parts of the topology here of the face. So now let's use here some parameters. We also saw how we can use tessellation and some advanced feature, and always remember size, remember to set that particular parameter, so every time that you go back and forward with the different tools, like we talk about how frequent we use the smooth, so the shift plus the the left click of the mouse. So shift is a really important tool, and the more you get into details, the smaller your standard brush will be and all the other brushes, but also the smooth needs to get smaller and smaller. And again, I'm getting smaller and smaller here, so I'm starting to create some parts of the face which are not yet like wrinkles, but kind of. So they're like parts of the face, of the nose, of the cheek that they just display the aging of the skin of the character. So depending if you want to do like an old man or a young man, you will change some features here, the mouth, the nose, the wrinkles. And you can see I'm using the grab again, so you can use the grab also for really small parts, not only for the overall character. And again, I'm moving parts here and there, small parts. And also the smudge, you can use the smear or smudge, or well, you can see this. Well, be careful here because you don't want polygons to go like crazy or overlap. You need to be really careful with that because it's going to give you like problems if you then want to print a 3D. Need to be careful that they don't go like manifold or open, or they get messed up or overlap, intersect, and so on. So here I will lower down the strength and the size a lot also for the smear. So, and if I use a little bit bigger size, I can use this just like the move. It's pretty similar to the grab and move. So you can see it's moving just a little bit these eyebrows. There we go. So they're looking a little better. And again, you can use it on the air, on the sculpted air, and so it's similar again to grab. So I'm using this again to fix little things that I think could be a little better. So, and smoothing all the time. Now with the knife, we can create also like carved parts, so parts that they go inside. Like for example here I'm doing kind of a close eye situation where the character has his eyes closed, but later we will add some also eyes. and we use the knife to create scars, and we use the frizz to protect parts of the mesh. So this is also really nice. You can use a little bit of pinch, or you can use amplify to work on that scar. You can use the smear if you wanna like move it a little bit, and just like with the grab, you can use the feel also if you want to feel it in some parts. So all the tools that we already saw also in a previous video, and here I'm continuing to add, you see, the details on the chin, and I'm also sculpting not symmetrical right now, because when you want to, if you want your character to look more realistic, probably you will abandon the symmetry at some point, so that you know the left side is not identical to the right side. So this just means more work. Well, actually, when you are in this level of detail, it's a lot of work to go there. And you can see here I'm using the knife again, really small, to create some wrinkles around, and like scars, and de-aging the defect of the face. And again, I want to enhance there the closed eyes for the moment, adding wrinkles here and there with the smaller and smaller. So this is kind of a high level detailing, but it's not the highest. Again, we can go higher than this, but the more we go higher, the more things will get heavy and also long. So it takes a lot of time here to work on all these details. So think if you actually need this, or if your character is already done. Also here again with the little bit of knife, I'm sculpting the lips. There you go. So again, I'm getting smaller and smaller here to define these really fine areas like the lips, and smoothing, sculpting, and smoothing as always. There you go. So also there on the bottom, create parts that are like extruded and parts that will be pushed inside, and some little bumps here on the lips that will look a little bit more realistic. Okay, you can also create veins. So just with the standard, you can just sculpt veins just with the correct amount of strength and the correct size. You can see there, you can sculpt all the veins of the arms and all the little details also for the body. And the body, it's a larger surface, so it's gonna take a lot of time as well. So again, decide whether you want to use that time to spend it on all these details, or you don't need it. So you need to know where your project is going. Again, you can sculpt veins on the neck, add wrinkles, smaller and smaller wrinkles, and be careful. You can go negative here, you can go positive depending on the effect that you want, but you can change it to use scars. Again, I'm adding these little wrinkles using now this stamp. So this is when stamps comes into play. So when we use stamps where we are now in a really tiny detailing, so adding little parts there that are actually smaller than the actual brush, and you can use that for skin, like aged skin, so create more wrinkles